Welcome to another episode of the Metacall. This is Smitty from 60cards.com, and this is a new brew I'm working on. As usual, always working on something new. But this one, I really feel like has a ton of potential. I haven't got a chance to play against enough control decks yet, so I'll just throw that out there. But creature decks are at least 70% win percentage on the match, if not more. I'd say seriously, like it's probably pushing about 80%, no joke. There's just too many burn spells. There's sweepers. It's just a red control deck, and you know how much creature decks can struggle with red. So, anyways, the deck's Metalcraft red deck, metal red. I'm trying to figure out a good name for it, but that's beside the point. No worries there. Uh, it's running. Well, you'll see the deck list, but Tumble Magnet is one of its key cards. Contagion Clasp is keyed because of the Proliferate on the Chalices, which is another key card. And then it uses all these artifacts that do a little. They're kind of support cards. Magnet's amazing. It really keeps people locked down. I mean, they're best creatures each time, and you proliferate it, and it just maintains its counters. It's a really good card. I'd speak a little about it on the post too. So that's why that's in there. And then it runs the powerhouse cards, the finishers, Koth, Inferno Titans, Comet Storms, Destructive Force, and my favorite, Kuldotha Phoenix, KAKAW, which just beats face. It's almost always metal crafted in this deck. It really shines. And with the lack of flyers in standard right now, in the resilience of Kuldotha, I mean, it's just so perfectly placed. That's your anti-aggro card, which is why there's one in the sideboard to bring in the fourth when you're playing against control, because they really struggle with that card, just like they struggle with Vengevine. So, without further ado, this is just a Boros match post sideboard in a 2-man, just testing it out. I'm going to be bringing this into 8-mans. It holds up well. And if I hit Boros and Vampires in my matches, there's no doubt this thing can just roll dailies in 8-mans. No doubt about it. Still testing as far as the long term for Grand Prix or the such. So I already recommend this for 8-mans and dailies on Magic Online and your local meta. It can easily handle what gets thrown at it there. So, anyways, this hand was pretty solid. I knew what he was playing. I knew I could clasp one of his guys turn 2, and then turn 4 chain reaction, and just blow up his board. Because surprisingly, he overextends. He had to have expected some pyroclasm, but he gets some 3-drops in, and that's a great thing in why I use chain reaction. Pyroclasm's a great card, but there's a lot of creatures it doesn't kill, or even against Boros they can play smart with their fetches. So chain reaction will just blow all that shit up. Anyways, sorry about that. So it's pretty standard. What I'm trying to set up here is I'm not gonna beat him to a race. So I'm not gonna Koth unless like I have no reason to pump a bunch of mana out. I'm usually gonna plus Koth and swing for 2 and try to defend him if I can. If not, that's okay. I got in the damage, but really just gain board position, wipe his board, get his cards low, because at that point my top decks are gonna dominate his thoroughly. Tumble Magnets answers, burn spells, costs, whatever. So he throws all his creatures out there. And here's okay. This is embarrassing. I plus one the wrong one. I was gonna tap it down for an Inferno and wipe 3 of his guys with Inferno, and then he'd stand no chance. Well, I untapped the wrong mana, but you get the point. Learning Koth. I haven't used Koth much yet, so I promise. Trust me, if a misplay happens, clicked the wrong land. No worries. Still had the game. I still had the chain reaction I had to use. I didn't need to because I just messed up. So no worries. -2 Koth. Still have a ton of mana open. Get the Etch champion. Doesn't really do anything, but I want to just be able to beat him next turn. And it's funny because he has the Manic Vandal since I'm playing artifacts. but he does that. I top deck a Bolt, and what's great is, I burn him, he wastes his fetch, but that's game. Inferno just swings in here. Oh, I'm sorry, I guess it takes another turn. Oh no, I untapped the mountain with Koth. So, anyways, I mean, Koth is amazing. He's the second best planeswalker in standard. I always say he's better than Jace and get a bunch of shit for it, because I mean the power level of him in a mono red deck is just unbelievable. Him and Lotus Cobra are the only cards that can replace themselves when they come into play as far as mana goes, which that's just such a tempo gain, is so amazing. So anyways, I really love Koth. I really love this deck, and I recommend it for 8-mans, dailies, local events, and I'll get back to you on Grand Prix statuses. It just depends on kind of its control matchup. I know it can beat ramp, which would be the sideboard's kind of geared for that and control. So you could really de-sideboard some of the creature stuff because it's so easy. So anyways, that's the mono red deck, middle red, KAKAW 2.0 as I called it right now. So if you have any suggestions, let me know, and hope you enjoyed. Take it easy.